Now, so my name is Mallikarjun and I'm a .NET full stack developer and trainer from the last 20 years. Okay. And see, at the end of the session, I will explain, I will give my details, but first we will start the concept. Okay, that is a very important first. So, why we are here today? So, today I'm going to explain about one course named as Complete .NET Full Stack Developer, okay, by Quality Thought Full Stack Academy. So now, in this session, first I divided this session into two parts. One is, I divided the session into two parts. One is a technical session and the second one is a non-technical session. So, in the technical session and non-technical session, first, in the non-technical session, I want to answer few questions first. What are they? First one is, what is full stack? This is the first point. The second one is, why full stack? Next, the third one is, in the industry we have so many full stacks, Python full stack, Java full stack, okay, like React full stack and Angular full stack, in that way. Then why .NET full stack? So these are the three questions you should answer first, okay, transparently and practically, that is, right or wrong, all of you? Because if anyone asks you why you selected .NET full stack, you should be able to answer this question, okay. So now, first of all, what is full stack? First question. So full stack means, here, full means what? It is a complete. Full means here, we can say complete collection of what? Stack means here, see, skills. That is. So complete collection of skills of what? Complete collection of skills to develop a web application, that is. So simply say like a website. So complete collection of skills to develop a website. So this is nothing but a full stack. Now what are the skills inside this full stack? Right. Generally, the skills of full stack are divided into front end and back end. Right. So front end and back end. But let us explore about this front end and back end. So front end means what? Front end generically can be called as a UI, user interface development. So you are going to be called as a UI developer in the team. Okay. Next, coming to this backend. Backend means it is web API development, remember. So you are going to be called as a web API developer, or you can call as REST web API developer. Next, if you explore this backend a little bit more, okay, here you need to develop database logic. And you need to more concentrate on database logic or data access layer development separately. So that is also one of the very important concept where it plays a key role when you are developing the high-end database, high-end applications. Okay. Next, after that, whatever the database functions or database logic you developed or whatever the web API you developed, okay, they need to be tested. So you should know about unit testing. This is very important point. Unit testing. So developer performs unit testing, remember. This testing is of two types, functional testing and non-functional testing. Right. Functional and non-functional. So among the 23 types of testing techniques, unit testing is mandatory, and at the developer level, once the function is developed by the developer, okay, it is tested by the developer also in two aspects. Functional and non-functional, that is. Non-functional means it is like prototype, okay, the name of the function, number of input parameters, the type of input parameters, and return types, these are all. Okay. So the prototype of the function is according to the document or not. Next, functional means, okay, the functionality. It is working according to the specified functionality or not. That is performed by the functional testing. Now, once the unit testing is completed, your application is ready. Okay. Now, you should know deployment of application on server. Nowadays, we are using cloud to deploy the applications so that is a cloud, right? So here, front-end UI development skill, next the web API, REST web API, next database logic, okay, reusable, okay. So reusable database logic you should develop, okay, according to design patterns. That is very important, right? And you should follow solid principles also. So everything should be developed by using design patterns and solid principles. That is. So, right, learning technology is one step, and after that, developing an application with respect to the principles is also very important. So, full stack means you should know how to develop the front end UI, okay, and back end REST web API and the database logic with respect to the design patterns and solid principles. And after that, you need to test the application with respect to the functionality and non-functionality, and after that deploy. So deployment of the developed application on the cloud services. Okay. So again, the deployment includes so many things: server configuration. Okay. And in an application, front end is there, front end deployment and web API deployment. And as you created the database, you need to deploy the database also. So it is not just a single deployment, remember that. It includes the front end and web API and the database. These three need to be properly deployed on the server to make it available to the public. Okay, that is. So these are the skills required in full stack. Now, simply say in one word, full stack means for an application development, there is a life cycle called SDLC, software development life cycle. So in that, analysis, design, coding, testing and deployment is there. Now, if you are a full stack developer means, okay, what does it mean? You should be able to participate in any stage of the entire development life cycle. Okay, design, coding, testing and deployment, that is. So simply say full stack means in one word, I will tell you one thing. It is simply like you are a all-rounder, that is. So full stack means you are an all-rounder, that is. So what is full stack? Is it clear? So what is full stack? So full stack is a combination of front-end skills and back-end skills, including deployment and testing and database. Okay, that is. So that you are able to participate in any stage of entire software development life cycle of an application. So what type of application it is? A website. So the full stack is connected with web applications only, remember that. Okay. Next, after that, why full stack? This is very important nowadays. Okay. Now, in simple word, I will tell you in simple word, all requirements of the human life are connected with web applications. Just you can check, right? See this. How can you say? Every day, our all requirements like first education, right? So it is like online education. It is a website. Next jobs. Okay, so online exams, online interviews or online exams, everything is websites. Next entertainment, right? So the entertainment in different ways, that is different types of entertainments, audio based and video based, both. So now we have Netflix, okay, and we have AHA and we have Hotstar. These are all websites, right? YouTube is also a website actually, but it is rich with audio content and video content. So next one, after that, financial services. So in that financial services, we have like banking sector, banking applications, and payment apps. Right. These are all related to completely web applications. Right. Next, after that, see the next one is groceries, e-commerce. We can say like simply e-commerce applications. So the e-commerce applications, like you can see the big basket, and you can see Amazon, okay, DMart. Okay, in that way, different e-commerce applications are there. So these are all related to the groceries. Now these are also connected with human life. Next, the food services. Okay, so the food services, Zomato, Swiggy. So these are all are web applications again, right? So in that way, next, service oriented applications. Service oriented means, see, I need a plumber. Okay, how to get a plumber in my area? Okay, so like urban clap, right? Next, just fix, right? In that way, different istri wala. Okay, even you can get a iron service also through web application. So here the services, required services, right? Next, after that, you can see the sales and see here the seconds, right? So OLX, this is also a web application, right? And after that, we can see like in the service oriented applications, one more is there, that is like Ola, right? Ola bikes, these are also application. So now here see the education service, job services, entertainment, financial services, e-commerce, okay, grocery services, food services, everything is by which type of applications? Simply say web applications. But the span of web application, the functionality may differ from application to application, but all are working purely based on internet only. Remember that. All are working based on web server and all are working based on web application based on internet, either completely or partially also. Why I am using that word? Because some of you may get a doubt that see, we are using PhonePe. PhonePe may not be a web application. No, it is an Android application. Okay, I mean maybe iPhone or Android application or maybe a hybrid application also. But it is a 50% only the front end application. The remaining 50%, the back end of any web application, any front end mobile application is by web API. Remember that, this one. For every front end mobile application, the back end is web API. This is. So that's why here, either fully or partially, the web applications are supporting our regular requirements. That is. Okay, they may be in the form of full web application or they may be as a part of backend also, remember. So that's why as all the web applications are connected with our requirements, okay, and our requirements are mandatory. You cannot avoid these requirements. Why? Because by using of these web applications, Okay, our requirements, we can save our time, that is. So why you are using all these services? To save the time. That is the first important point. So nowadays the time is very important. Next, we can save money also. That is. And you can get the qualitative service or qualitative product. You can get a qualitative product or a qualitative service at the rate of minimum money. That is a very important point. So that's why the full stack means, see why full stack means, the web applications are connected with human requirements and we cannot avoid these human requirements, so that using of web applications became a part and it became mandatory, okay, in this nowadays, okay. That's now next, the third question, why .NET full stack? This is very important. Now here one important point I want to tell you, most important point, how to see, if anyone selected full stack as their career, okay, it is not at all wrong, remember that, okay, because nowadays these all requirements are connected with, these web applications are fulfilling the human requirements, and as they are fulfilling the requirements of human life, they are forever, their usage is now became mandatory, so that selection of full stack is not at all wrong when compared to the data science or when compared to any other, okay. Now next, most important, jobs point of view, the full stack web development or full stack web developer, okay, jobs where they are available, okay, who provides, from a startup company to MNC, okay, everywhere, okay, any company provides these jobs. How? The most important point, to create a startup, okay, only in the web development it is possible very easily. In other areas, okay, in the data science, creating a startup is not that much easy. A person having minimum experience, okay, and 2 or 3 members collectively, they can create a startup and they can provide the jobs for web development, okay, for web developers. Now, so that's why here the creation of startups is easy. That's why so many startups are there to provide the jobs for web developers. But here having skill is very important. That is very important. Whatever may be the company, okay, maybe the job may be a simple, I mean, a job which is with a small salary, okay, very less salary, or maybe with, it is MNC, but whatever may be the company providing the job, but having skill is very, very important. So here, in case of other companies, so in case of other domains, providing creation of startups is not possible, even in any other field, remember that, because they need fully experienced people, at least a few members in the team, but in the web startups, okay, we don't need too heavy experienced persons, okay, with 1 year or 2 years experienced person also, they can create a startup, right? Next, and after that, why .NET full stack? Now coming to this .NET, see, we have Python full stack, we have Java full stack, we have React full stack, and we have Angular full stack. Totally 5 full stacks are there related to the web development. I am not talking about the testing full stack, and I am not talking about the data science full stack. Okay, I am talking about the 5 full stacks which are connected with web development. Okay, so here, why .NET? That is very important. Now .NET came in the year of 2003, actually. It is from Microsoft. Is an important point. .NET came in the year of 2003 from Microsoft. At that time, what is the state of .NET? Simply, I want to tell you, it is platform dependent. It supports only Windows operating system at that time. And at that time it is paid. It is not free. That is a very important point. Now, see, at that time, the .NET, for the competitors for the .NET are mainly Java at that time, especially. But now, it is 2024. Straight away, I am coming to 2024. Okay. It is from Microsoft .NET. Now, it is platform independent. Okay. I mean cross-platform, independent. Remember. And open source and free. That is. So, totally, now the .NET in 2024, it is cross-platform and open source and free. Remember, that is. So, and it is in the same way as like the Python and as like Java, now the .NET is also cross-platform, open source and free. So then both are same. Okay, then what is the difference between these two? Okay, what is the difference between the .NET and other technologies? Let us see carefully. .NET, see here, in 2024, I am talking about the .NET which is in 2024. It is designed using .NET. We can develop any type of application, for any platform using single technology. That is a very important point. That is, see, let us simplify this statement. Develop any type of application for any platform using single technology. This is the main principle behind the latest .NET. I am talking about the .NET which is right now. Okay. First of all, I want to tell you one thing. From the last 15 years, okay, so many people ignored the .NET. Okay, ignored the .NET intentionally. Everyone moved towards the Java and Python. Okay, it is okay, good, no problem. But the point is, they intentionally ignored. But right now, the .NET is cross-platform, open source, free, and you can develop any type of application for any platform using a single technology. That is the important point. So, simply the summary is, what are the features inside the Python and Java? All the features are there in the .NET and some additional features are also there. Okay, I will explain that features one by one. Let us see. First, develop any type of application. Okay, any type of application means what? Now, any type of application means, first of all, CUI applications means here they are called character user interface applications. Okay, we can call them as console applications also, because simply say like command prompt based applications. Command prompt based applications, remember. Okay, why these applications are nowadays very important? See, even though the Windows operating system is now with a version Windows 11, but still it is using the command prompt, right? So, see, why they not remove this command prompt? Because it occupies very less space and it never uses any graphical library and it loads on the low configured system and the commands are executed very faster when compared to the GUI. That's why even though you are developed enterprise level applications, okay, which are with very highly productive libraries, but still they are with command prompt. Remember that means command line tools. So every software, Oracle, SQL Server, okay, every software is with command prompt based commands. Okay, So that's why these CUI applications are very, very important nowadays. Next, GUI applications, graphical user interface applications, right? So they are obviously very mandatory because very easy to understand. And here, different types of GUI applications are there in the .NET because the GUI applications, so there is one word called UWP, Universal Windows Platform, right? I will explain the technical syllabus. GUI. Next, database applications. So developing the database logic, okay, relational and non-relational, both. A .NET can interact with RDBMS, a .NET can interact with non-RDBMS also, remember. Non-RDBMS means MongoDB, right. So there are different types, almost 10 plus types of databases are supported by this .NET. Next, after that, intranet applications, okay, means limited area network, that is. Next, internet applications. So now the internet applications means there are two types. I want to develop a website. I want to develop a web API. Okay, these two are very, very important nowadays. So I want to develop a website. I want to develop the web API. These two are possible by using .NET. Next, I want to develop mobile applications. Okay, so these mobile applications are two types. Okay, they are Android and iPhone based applications. So two types of applications you can develop by using .NET. Remember, in the .NET there is a feature called, there is a tool called Xamarin. By using that you can develop Android applications and iPhone applications. Next, I want to develop games. Okay, the games are again two types, 2D games and 3D games. So these are developed by using .NET using a Unity framework, right? Next, I want to develop cloud applications. That is, so you can develop the cloud applications, and the .NET is more integrated with Azure. Azure API programming also you can write. Next, and after that IoT applications and embedded, IoT and embedded, right? Next, you can develop machine learning applications and AI, right? So by using .NET. Next, after that, you can develop microservices. Developing a big application, I mean a monolithic application as microservices application, right? So dividing a big project into small individual projects, okay, right? So microservice architecture. In this way, see here, if you observe here, from console to GUI, database, intranet, internet, mobile, games, cloud, IoT, machine learning and microservices. Any type of application, see this one, definition. Develop any type of application for any platform. Now coming to the platform, any platform, right? So any platform means what? Windows platform. The first, coming to the operating systems. Okay. Now, next, coming to the second, Linux. The third one, Mac. Not only platform, not only operating systems. Okay. Watches, right? TV, smart TVs, smart watches. Next, IoT devices. Next, after that, Windows, Linux, okay, cloud, for cloud platforms, right? So IoT devices, Linux, okay, cloud platforms, IoT devices, Now, in this way, for different platforms, it is where you can develop applications by using .NET. So now using single technology, what is this one? See this. The single technology means here it is just .NET. That's all. But for more clarity, I will give one thing here. If you learn C#.NET, okay, you can participate, you can become a developer of any of these type of applications. That is, see, if you learned C#.NET, you can write program in CUI, you can write program in GUI, and you can develop database, web applications, web API, mobile, games, cloud, machine learning, everywhere. Everywhere, only one language called C#.NET. Remember that. That is. So only one language you need to learn in the .NET. You no need to learn any other languages also. Only one language. At any instance of time, you can move to any other domain without losing your language experience. Remember that. So now this principle is not applicable for other languages. Simple point. Okay. All the applications are developed, okay, very productively by using, see here. If you want to develop any application, three factors are very important: time and budget and quality. These three are very important. Here quality means fulfilling the client requirements and error free. So time and budget. Always we want to develop the code in the minimum time and in minimum budget with maximum quality. That is the point. But how it is possible? By learning .NET, by learning C#, is it possible? See here. There is one more software named as Visual Studio IDE, Integrated Development Environment, which is with a version of 2022. That is. So this software makes you it is more developer friendly, and it is going to be called as a universal IDE. Remember that. Right. The community edition of Visual Studio is completely free. Right. So now download this Visual Studio IDE, okay, and you can develop any type of application at the rate of minimum time, minimum budget with maximum quality. And this IDE is targeted for project architecture. Remember that. Okay, it is. So the universal IDE, Visual Studio, it is not only for Microsoft technologies. Okay, it supports different types of other technologies also. And it means in a full stack, here, see this one. The front end UI is there, right? This front end UI is by which technology? Okay, it may be by React or it may be by Angular, right? In Visual Studio, not only .NET, it supports the web application development with Angular and web application development with React also. That is, and it supports Python, it supports TypeScript, it supports JavaScript, it supports different types of languages. Okay, right. So in other technologies like Java or Python, okay, they are also cross-platform, open source, free. But any type of application for any platform using single technology, okay, that is not completely applicable to Java and Python. Okay, right. So in one more session, okay, we are going to compare the Java, Python and .NET and PHP, these four together. Okay, chapter wise we are going to compare. That comes in the next session. But right now, why .NET? This is the main important point. .NET is a cross-platform, open source, free, object-oriented, and using .NET, you can develop any type of application for any platform using single technology. Okay. Now, as a full stack, you are going to concentrate on website and web API development. At any instance of time, you can move to any other domain, okay, without losing your .NET experience. Remember that. Suppose currently you worked as a website developer for 1 year or 2 years. Now you are interested about games, as per your company requirement, you want to move to the mobiles, okay, maybe, right? Because for web API backend, front end is mobile, right? You want to develop the Android application. Using .NET, you can develop a Android application. You no need to change the technology. You no need to move to, you no need to learn any other thing from the scratch. Okay, so by the having of .NET knowledge, you can move to any other domain at any instance of time without losing your .NET experience. That is possible. Suppose you want to move to from website development to machine learning, that is also possible. ML.NET is there, right? IoT development, yes, you can move into IoT development. In that way, at any instance of time, you can move from one domain to another domain without losing the .NET experience. But the same software you are using, the same language, Visual Studio 2022, okay, and the language is C#.NET. That is, and you can develop applications for any platform: Windows, Linux, Mac, watches, TV, IoT devices, and clouds and all. That is right. Now coming to the content. Okay, see, as a .NET full stack developer, abstractly what we are going to cover. Okay, so the complete .NET full stack developer. Okay, let us see here. Front end application. So front end UI developer, right? Now front end UI developer, it is React. Okay, so this is a one skill or one job. Remember, it means you complete the React, you can get a job as a React UI developer, right? This is one job in your basket. Remember that in your resume, in your skill set. The second one is a backend. So backend web API developer. Okay, it is by using a ASP.NET Web API. Okay, it is ASP.NET Web API core actually. Okay, so this is also one of the important job in your resume. Okay, right. So one of the important skill. Next, what are the other skills? Suppose I don't want React. Okay, I want to develop the entire website by using single technology. Then web developer by using ASP.NET MVC. It is also MVC core. This is another job. Remember, right? Next, you can ignore this React and you can ignore this Web API also. Just by learning ASP.NET MVC core, you can get a job. So this is one of the job. So three major jobs in our course. You can get a React job, you are React UI developer, and you can get a ASP.NET Web API developer job by learning ASP.NET Web API core, and you can get MVC developer job by learning ASP.NET MVC core. Right. Next, what are the other? Okay, what the companies are expecting? The companies are expecting from a developer nowadays. Okay, database logic development, data access layer. Okay, how to develop this? By using a technology called, by using a framework called ORM frameworks, EF.NET Core. Very, very important. This is one more skill. Okay, that is. Now, this is also we are going to teach you, right? Data access layer, ORM, EF.NET. And after that, unit testing. You need to test the functions which are developed, right, in functional, non-functional way, by using a framework called NUnit. That is one more skill. Next, and after that, at the end, deployment. So deployment of applications on Azure services. That is. So this is one more skill. How to configure? What is meant by cloud? What are the different types of clouds? And what is meant by EAS, SaaS, and SaaS and platform as a service? And what is the requirement of cloud? And here among that Azure services, what are the different types of Azure services available and how they are connected with the developer? Okay, app services, virtual machines, okay, database services, and CA and CD pipeline. These are all. So deployment of the above applications on Azure services. So that is another skill. Now these are the skill set in our course. Okay. Now next, in addition to these skills, we are, see, these are all individual skills. Remember that. If you learn React, you becomes React UI developer. If you learn Web API, you becomes Web API developer. If you learn MVC, you becomes MVC developer. But here, once you learned these technologies, okay, you became individually an expert. But you should work as a team, so that you should know how the project is handled, how to work as a good team player. So to know about the project handling and team player, okay, you need to know about the agile methodology. That is next. After that, the next point is the team works on DevOps. Using DevOps tools, the team works together. Okay, here the DevOps is not a software. So how a team is connected, okay, while developing a project, that is very important. So the team is connected, they works together geographically. Maybe the team located in different places, okay, but the team is connected by using the DevOps tools, okay, a cloud platform. Now you should know about that tools, then only you can use that tools, or you can use that platform very effectively. What are they? Now here we are going to teach you about the DevOps using Azure. Okay, so here it's not about the DevOps engineer. Okay, it is about how the tools are connected with a developer. That is a very important point. So Azure, in that Git and GitHub, what is repository? Okay, and the repository tools, GitHub and Jira, and after that, coming to the Azure services, different types of services and their creation. Okay, and after that, what is meant by Docker? What is the purpose of Docker? And some examples using Docker and Kubernetes, Azure Kubernetes. What is meant by Kubernetes service? Okay, and what is the purpose of this? Okay, with respect to the server load. And next, after that, how the CI and CD pipeline is implemented using in the development, okay, using all these tools. So we are going to show you how to deploy the application by using Docker containerization architecture, okay, container, okay, ACR, and here this Docker and AKS and CI and CD pipeline implementation. How the CI and CD pipeline is implemented, okay. So we are going to see about all these things practically, but it is not about, see, DevOps engineer. These are all explored with respect to the development. Remember that. Okay, how the developer, because Visual Studio is connected with all these things. Okay, the Visual Studio connects with Git. A separate menu is provided in the Visual Studio to handle the Git. And after that, the Visual Studio is integrated with Azure. It can access the Azure services directly. Okay, so that's why here the Visual Studio is used by the developer and the Visual Studio is connected with all these things. Okay, so that's why we are dealing with all these features as a part of our course. So individual skills plus the skills which are required, okay, at the time of development, okay, as a team. Remember that. So this is a complete full stack .NET developer course in our organization. Okay, next. Now, see, when you know all these skills, what happens? You are able to participate in any role. You are able to play any role in the entire application development. Remember that. That is a very important point. So this is the extreme case. When you know all these things, obviously you get more priority in the selection process. Okay, your resume is shortlisted because you know more. See, in a the simple point I want to tell you, in a cricket team, who gets more priority? A all-rounder. Who knows wicket keeping? Who knows batting? Who knows bowling? Okay, who knows? Okay, handling of the team. So they gets more priority. When you have more skills, automatically you gets more, and you gets more salary also. Remember that. So when you are giving more, automatically you gets more. That is a very important point. So that's why these many number of skills included in our content. That is the point. Okay. Now what is the content we are going to deal? See here. The .NET software is divided into two parts from the olden days. One is .NET framework. The second one is Visual Studio. Different versions are there. Now, the .NET framework earlier, it started with 1.0 beta version. After that, it is 1.1. And finally, it is ended at 4.8.1. That is the final. It is ended. Okay. It is Windows based. Right. Next, after that, one more is came that is called .NET Core. It started with 1.0 and it ended at 3.1. It is no more. Okay. Now after that, a new unified framework is came into the picture named as .NET. That's all. Nowadays it is .NET. Okay. So .NET 5, it is out of support. .NET 6, .NET 7, .NET 8. So 8 is the latest. 6, 7, 8. These three are available right now. Okay, right. So the 5 is out of support. So remove it. Now you need to learn .NET by using .NET 6. That is one important. And you need to learn one language that is fixed called C#.NET from 7.3 version to C#12. That is. Okay, these two are not required, remember. Okay, now .NET 6 or 7 or 8 version you need to learn. Why these two are need to be ignored? Because these two are merged as a part of this one, remember. So .NET is equal to .NET framework, which is earlier, and .NET Core plus mobile application development support, machine learning application development support, plus cloud application development support, plus IoT application development support, okay, and AI support, and microservices support, and see here, and games, 2D and 3D games, right? And next here web applications. Okay, so here web application means website plus web API, right? So in this way, okay, in this way all the features are included and finally it became .NET. .NET is a unified framework using which you can develop any type of application for any platform, okay, using single technology, that is. So you need to learn .NET 6, 7 and 8, that is. So now .NET 6, 7 and 8 using Visual Studio 2022, that is. And one more is there, okay, that is .NET same, using one more software is there, VS Code, that is also there, okay, 2. So as a part of our syllabus, you are going to learn .NET using .NET CLI plus VS Code. That is also one of the way to learn about the .NET. But this is the most popular way, and this is also okay, we are going to cover .NET CLI using VS Code because the Visual Studio occupies more space. Okay, it occupies around 18 GB. But a lightweight IDE, okay, which is generic, which supports different types of application, different types of technologies, including HTML, JavaScript, and all. Okay, that is VS Code. Okay, which is just 100 MB. Okay, to download, and it occupies very less space. It is lightweight. So a lightweight IDE it is. Okay, but the Visual Studio is little bit heavyweight, but highly productive. Okay, it is highly productive. So that's why it is a solution-based architecture and supports so many templates and highly productive. So in the real time, both the scenarios are possible. Okay, right. This is also by the companies, supported by the companies, and this is also okay. So both the .NET application development by using .NET CLI plus VS Code, that is also okay, and this is also okay, right? So both the concepts are included in our syllabus, right? So C#, you need to learn the version from 7.3 to 12, and you need to use .NET 6 or 7 or 8 using Visual Studio 22, okay? And later, you are going to learn about how to develop the applications by using .NET CLI using VS Code, that is. Next, the individual syllabus. Let us see this one. The complete .NET Core full stack developer with React.js, Azure, Docker, and AKS. So this is the most important syllabus, okay, which is designed by considering the top MNC requirements. Remember that, okay. So if you are able to learn all these things, okay, if you learn all these things, okay, it is very easy and developer friendly. Most important, the .NET is more developer friendly when compared to the other technologies, more developer friendly, okay. So introduction to the frameworks, what is meant by .NET framework, .NET standard, .NET core, .NET 5, 6 and 7, 8, introduction to the types of applications, and next introduction to the Visual Studio 2019 and 2022, and .NET versus other technologies. I told you, I want to compare the .NET with the remaining 3 technologies like Java, Python and PHP also, chapter wise, okay, because technically how the .NET is similar to the other technologies, and sometimes it is providing some different additional advantages also. So technically chapter wise we are going to compare the .NET with other 3 technologies, okay, that comes in next session, okay. That is also we are going to explain as a part of our syllabus, because if anyone asks you why .NET is selected, okay, why you selected the .NET, then you should be able to answer. Now the .NET is cross-platform, open source, free, and using .NET you can develop any type of application for any platform using single technology in a more productive way when compared to the other technologies, that is, okay, it is practically proven. Next, we start with C# 10, which includes 7.3. So versions of frameworks, basic structure of console application. We start with complete basics, okay, just like C language, data types, control structures, arrays, strings, loops and all, operators, okay, strings, arrays, and later at the end of the chapter some hands-ons will be provided and interview questions will be provided with answers and with explanation. Next, the most important chapter is OOPs using C#. So the principles of OOPs, data hiding, encapsulation, polymorphism, okay, and how to create the different members of the class. These are all different types of methods, different types of variables, different types of functions, all asynchronous programming, all everything we cover here. So again, at the end of the OOPs, hands-ons and interview questions. Next, exception handling, which deals with errors and its related hands-ons and interview questions. Next, delegates. This is also very important. It is like we can call it like pointer to functions in the C language. But here it is very important, delegates and types of delegates and delegates versus normal anonymous methods, and what is the purpose of delegates, what is the use of delegates in the modern programming of .NET, and hands-ons and interview questions related to the delegates. Next, multi-threading means asynchronous programming. synchronous and asynchronous programming. So multi-threading. Next, class library. This is also very, very important because in our application, we have one option here, see. When you are developing an application, here database logic, this is very important. Okay, how a database logic is made reusable, that is very important. Okay, the database logic is used by the web application, or it can be used by web API, or it can be used by any other application also, depending upon your requirement. So you should make this logic as reusable. Okay, so how you can make the logic reusable? By using this one, class library. Okay, this is. So now the class library, what is this class library template? And different types of predefined libraries, user defined libraries, platform specific, portable. Okay, so there are different options are there here, and we are going with this simply say it is like a DLL creation, dynamic link libraries, simply say a reusable logic. Okay, next a separate layer, simply say. Okay, next collections, very, very important interview point of view also, because see, single value managed very easily by a single variable, but when multiple values are there together, okay, managing is a little bit complex. If all the values are same type, it is easy, suppose up to some extent. If the values are more and they are different types and the size is also abnormal, then managing the collections is highly complex. So now the collections concept came into the picture to handle the group of values. So generic and non-generic collections, see array list, hash table, sorted list, queue, and we are going to cover list dictionary, sorted dictionary, concurrency, so many. Now this again very important even development point of view also. Next, link queue, language integrated query, accessing of different data sources by using a Microsoft based query language called link queue, .NET based. See, generally to access any database, RDBMS, any RDBMS, we need SQL language. SQL language is not a part of .NET. SQL is the RDBMS dependent, that is. So Oracle SQL and SQL Server SQL and MySQL SQL. So SQL changes from RDBMS to RDBMS. It is similar but not same. So now here the link queue, language integrated query, using which you can access any data source, an array, a collection of objects, okay, and a file and a RDBMS also, okay, that is right. So link queue. Next, lambda expressions. These lambda expressions and these delegates are connected, remember. So this is also very, very important to reduce the code. Next, IO, dealing with files and directories. This is also very important in the application development point of view. Next, data annotations. When you are developing the database logic, okay, you need to create model classes. That model classes are created or configured by using data annotations. This is also very important, okay, in the application development point of view, front end point of view also, configuring the model class properly, that is very important, okay. So in MVC. At the same time, in the back end also, it is also very important because to create a table based on the model class. So here data annotations are very important. Next, regular expressions for validations point of view. Next, database programming. This is. So in the olden days, there is a library called ADO.NET. Now ADO.NET queries came. Okay. So this is ADO.NET. Okay. Next, EF.NET. This is exactly very important. Okay. With respect to the interview point of view, application development point of view, and the skill set point of view also. The companies are expecting a EF.NET skill. Okay. And that too here, code first approach. That is very important. So developing a data access layer by using EF.NET. In this, what is meant by ORM, what is model, what is meant by mapping, what is meant by Fluent API, how to configure the model classes, and code first approach with respect to the existing database, and code first approach with respect to the non-existing database, and seeding the database, database first approach, and data annotations, regular expressions, Fluent API, and layered architecture implementation, and the CRUD operations using EF.NET. This is also very important, EF.NET core. Once you completed the C# up to EF.NET, then you can switch into type of application development as a full stack. Now ASP.NET with C#. Then you are entering into web application development. So what is meant by web application? What is internet? What is request? What is response? What is server? What is client? What is HTTP? Everything you should know. Now to develop a web application, okay, ASP.NET provided one template named as ASPX. Okay, but we are not going to use that ASPX. We are using MVC. Why? That is the point here. So introduction to ASPX, and after that we are going to start MVC. So why MVC? Why not ASPX? What are the advantages of MVC? And the total MVC application development, web application development using MVC. This is also very important. Just by learning MVC also you can get a job. Remember that. Next, ASP.NET Web API. For any type of front end, it may be Angular front end, or it may be React front end, or it may be an iPhone API, or it may be a Angular API. Sorry, Angular mobile app. Okay, right. So any type of, okay, Android, React, and Angular, and see, iPhone. Any type of front end. Okay, it may be Windows. For any type of front end, the back end is Web API. Remember that. Okay, suppose an Android mobile app is there, back end is Web API. A iPhone mobile app is there, back end is Web API. A front end React application is there, back end is Web API. A front end Angular application is there, back end is Web API. A front end HTML application is there, back end is Web API. A front end Windows application is there, back end is Web API. So Web API is common for any front end. Okay, any front end means here simple formula, any HTTP client, that is any application, any front end application, okay, which is able to communicate with the back end using HTTP protocol, that is. So that's why sometimes the Web API developers gets more priority than MVC developer also. Remember that. That's why it is also very, very important nowadays. So Web API, this is the Web API syllabus, hands-ons and interview questions. And next, we are coming to core version. Okay, .NET Core, Windows based and non-Windows based. So .NET Core, ASP.NET Core, and ASP.NET MVC Core with EF Core. This is the total syllabus, Web API Core, and so up to here it is a .NET, and after that client-side technologies. So client-side technologies, whether you may learn React or whether you may learn Angular, HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. These four are common as a client-side technologies, right? Next, after that, you need to learn two tools, Postman and Fiddler. Among them, Postman is important, Fiddler is also okay, right? What is the purpose of this one? When you are developing the Web API, okay, the Web API are accessed by using this Postman. Remember that. Next, Visual Studio, right? Visual Studio 2022 we are going to use. Next, the server we uses IaaS, Internet Information Services. Okay. Next, when you are developing a project, when you are developing an application, the code organization should be done according to two things. They are design patterns and solid principles. Organization of code is very, very important. So to improve the performance and for better management, while you are developing the logic, you need to follow design patterns and solid principles. These two are going to be covered in our syllabus. Okay. Next, after that, testing. So how to test the functions you developed, okay, with respect to the Web API or with respect to the database logic. So NUnit framework we are going to use. There are so many other frameworks like XUnit, MS Unit are there. But now we are using, we will explain about the MS Unit and XUnit, and after that we will implement NUnit, okay, under testing chapter. Next, the client-side JavaScript frameworks. Okay, introduction to the node, and after that either Angular or React, okay, is covered under client-side JavaScript frameworks. Next, the repository. Okay, the Visual Studio is integrated with Git. So Git menu and Git repository and Git commands are covered here. And after that, cloud. So as we are using .NET and .NET is more integrated with Azure. So how to use different resources of Azure and deployment of .NET web applications on Azure, and how to implement the CI and CD pipeline using Azure repos, and deployment of .NET application using Docker, and deployment of .NET application with Kubernetes service, and how to create this service also you should know. Okay, app services, SQL server service, database service, okay, virtual machine, these are all. So here we are going to cover the Azure related functionalities with respect to the .NET development. Okay, it's not with respect to the Azure DevOps. Okay, that is. Next, in addition to that, we are going to cover RDBMS concept, because when you are developing an application, you should know how to handle the database. That is normalization. Remember that. Once you data collected from the real world, means from your school or from your restaurant or from a any organization. Okay. Now, first you need to prepare the database for it. Okay, you need to prepare the tables. So now that process is covered here, normalization. Okay, so types of normal forms, first normal form, second normal form, third normal form here. Next, the database we are using SQL Server. This is. So the SQL Server we cover SQL Server independently. Okay, installation of SQL Server, Management Studio, and creation of tables, data types, constraints, DDL commands, DML commands, and select commands, subqueries, joins, functions, procedures, triggers, and indexes and transactions. These are all we are covering independently for SQL Server. Okay, that is. So this is another skill we are adding here. And hands-ons and interview questions related to the SQL Server, right? So this is the total syllabus related to the complete .NET full stack developer, which is targeted for MNCs. Okay, if you cover this entire syllabus, okay, you becomes an all-rounder. You are able to play any role, okay, in the total entire web application development. That is important point. Next, here two projects are there, but in this only one project is allowed here right now, because depending upon the timeline. Okay, so either one project by using React with backend core web API, or one project by using MVC core. Okay, so two options are there. That is. Right. So this is the total individual chapter-wise syllabus for complete .NET full stack. Right. Any other doubts? Okay. Thank you. Thank you all of you.